In a positive initiative for inclusive infrastructure development, the Millennium Highway and West Coast Road Reconstruction project held specialized workshops bringing together persons with disabilities and project teams to improve disability inclusion in the project and road network in St. Lucia. The morning session saw members of the National Council for Persons with Disabilities benefiting from practical training on disability inclusion in infrastructure, followed by a site visit to the cul-de-sac roundabout area.
As persons with disabilities, we bring our lived experiences. And where infrastructure is concerned, for many years we have suffered due to the lack of accessible infrastructure, sidewalks, bus shelters, which limit wheelchair users, particularly from waiting on public transport, from disembarking public transport, from just crossing from one point to the next. So we are extremely happy that in this major infrastructural project, a lot of emphasis is being placed on ensuring that no group, no vulnerable person, no person with disability is denied the right to access and to move around, especially in public infrastructure.
Using assessment tools developed through the United Kingdom Caribbean Infrastructure Fund, UKCIF, participants identified positive aspects and suggested possible modifications to enhance accessibility.
For the CDB today, this is a very significant day because we have the opportunity to involve persons with disabilities in doing an assessment at the Millennium Highway and West Coast Road, which is a very key project within the UK SIF portfolio of projects. And during this process, we are integrating some of their recommendations and we're hearing their thoughts for us to feed back into the design where possible, but also for us to remember that accessibility, mobility, and inclusion, these are extremely important and to the Caribbean Development Bank.
Disability-friendly features are being incorporated at specific points along what is 44 kilometers stretch from the Latok roundabout to the Soufre Bridge.
But what we have done is selected the critical areas where we have ensured that the designs are friendly, they are safe enough to allow the differently disabled persons to be able to safely navigate those areas that we have identified, such as the roundabout near cul-de-sac, the OKU, and some sections along the Millennium Highway.
The afternoon session brought together contractors, consultants, and ministry officials for sensitivity training, directly incorporating feedback from the morning's assessments. This collaborative initiative builds on key recommendations and tools from a previous assessment of disability inclusion across the UKCIF portfolio, advancing St. Lucia on the path towards more inclusive infrastructure.
In that context, we invested in the study on disability inclusion that our consultant carried by CDB, and we thought it was important to make sure things don't evaporate, to follow up on the ground and getting inputs from persons with disabilities themselves and working with them. This is why we've invested in this further technical assistance activity to maximize the opportunities for and integration of disability inclusion in this program, and also hopefully to sow the seeds working with organizations of persons with disabilities and CDB and other actors to help advance this agenda regionally so that the whole Caribbean space becomes more inclusive and accessible for persons with disabilities.
The Millennium Highway and West Coast Road Reconstruction project is implemented by the Government of St. Lucia through the Department of Infrastructure, Ports and Transport. The project benefits from significant grant funding under the UK Caribbean Infrastructure Fund, UKCIF. UKCIF is funded by the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office and administered by the Caribbean Development Bank.